Hi, my name's Alex. I just want to make a rambly video about the whole CDJ business. I never make YouTube videos, so I don't expect this to be good, but whoever sees this, what few people you are, I hope you take something away from it or whatever the fuck you want. But so the thing is with Denon and their SC5000 shit right here, you know, that's good. That's good. I mean, Denon coming in here like a hero, basically, you know, breaking up all that pioneer crap, you know, because they've had a stranglehold on the entire market for so long. But I mean, I just wanna talk, like real talk, you know, like a CDJ, like flagship CDJ, $2,000, more than $2,000. You're paying more than $2,000 for a single CD player, right? And then you get another, and then you pay more than $2,000 for a mixer, right? That's your flagship setup. You know, that's like what you know, all those festivals or whatever the hell they want, except they have 4 CDJs because, you know, people use 4. So I mean, the thing is, I'm not like ratting on DJs that have like all this, that do all this stuff, but like, you know, the thing is, like, I'm not a DJ. I don't get paid for this. I don't want to get paid for this. I just like to mix and have fun. So this is it. This is my CDJ SB2 monitor, you know, laptop, basically. And that's what I do. I'm not a DJ, but, you know, I like to fix electronics. I like to try to fix electronics mostly. But, you know, it's a fun hobby. So I like to repair the CDJs, you know. CDJs are fun. They're exotic. They're fun. People often just throw them on eBay or something broken because they don't want to try to dig around inside because they might break it, or maybe it's just time for an upgrade anyway. So, you know, CDJ 1000 Mark 1, that was the club standard about 15 years ago. And I have one right here, basically. And then I have all the chips over here, like LCD, and then the jog wheel light, you know, power supply, top of the thing, you know, all that stuff. And let me tell you, like, this was the flagship a while ago, but like the flagship today, right, you're paying more than $2,000 for. And, you know, you're paying for that functionality and pretty much nothing else. One of the main selling points of these things is that they're so rugged and durable, and you'll be able to, you know, travel with them to gigs and stuff. And I mean, like, sure, I guess that works, but I mean, if I were paying more than $2,000 for a CD player, I would want it to have like a better build quality on the inside, you know, have more repairability or something. I'd want half this crap to be made out of like metal or something. You know, see like the jog wheel here. This is a 1000 Mark 1, so it doesn't have like the rollers and stuff, but the newer ones have these like rollers around this ring, and you know, those things snap because the axles are made of fucking plastic. You know, all that stuff. This one doesn't work like that though. This one kind of looks more like a weird thing. But like, and then there's all this stuff on the bottom. Like there's all these like flimsy plastic clips. You know, so the stuff that, basically all throughout, that breaks all the time. You know, and that's not cool. I would not take that from a company. You know, and basically Pioneer's just been doing this because they can. People want that functionality. People want it to work the way it is. It's just the nature of being a DJ. You know, it's the biggest selling point is that when you walk into a club, you know, you want to be able to mix on what they have, and what they're going to have is most certainly Pioneer, because that's just how it works. And that's how Pioneer got a stranglehold on the system, you know? Like, the Denon SC5000 isn't going to come in and like rescue everything. I mean, clubs aren't going to start buying this stuff, even though it's basically the same layout that Pioneer has. And, you know, even though that's kind of copying, it's not really that big of a deal because, you know, that's just the nature of the business. I mean, you're once a standard's been set, you're not going to be able to, you know, take it over by just like switching to something completely different. So these things, like, you know, like the big thing about CDJs, right, is you have all that functionality, you have a sound card and stuff, and it's great. But you know what? Like, the fact that, you know, you don't even need a good laptop, you don't need a good controller or anything, and you can have more functionality than, say, like a CDJ 900, which doesn't even have hotkeys on it. as far as I know, the last time I used one, it was a long time ago. I don't keep up on it. Maybe they do have hotkeys and software. Definitely not buttons. You know, there's not even hotkeys on a CDJ 900, which is like the step up model. You know, like the model you get on and then like you step up to like the 2000s or something like that. It's just ridiculous. You know, you're basically paying for the functionality of a CD player with a few spiffy features, and you're paying more than 2K for it. Like, who the people that thought this was a good idea, basically, it's just, they just feel like they have no other option, and eventually just, you know, kind of, you know, they acclimate to it. So, like, what else are you gonna do? When every single club is using Pioneer CDJs, you're not gonna want to play on some crappy Denons or Newmarks. So that's what happened. And so Pioneer took it, and then they're running around selling these things which are basically just plastic crap on the inside, even though they do manage to hold up for a while. And they end up having these weird problems, like the platter springs, you know, not being compressed, and then they don't stretch out all the way, and you have to like go in and stretch them out manually. Like, that's stuff that should not be happening if you're paying more than $2,000 for a device. Like, you know, 4 springs, you know, you're paying more than $2,000 for a device with those 4 springs. They shouldn't just like stop working like that, you know? That's not cool. Consumers shouldn't stand for that, but they have to, because Pioneer basically has a monopoly on the entire system. Now, the Denon SC5000 is going to come in here and it's going to kind of shake things up, right? And it's in direct competition to the 2000 Nexus 2. You know, the whole Prime series is in competition with the 2000 Nexus 2. They're kind of giving a kick to the system, because basically right now people are paying for like $6,000 setups, which you can basically get with what I have here. Like, you know, controller wise. I mean, it's not going to be as big and beautiful and flashy, but you can get the same functionality out of a laptop. And, you know, whether a laptop crashes more or not, I mean, that's not really the question when you're talking about $3,000. So, like, at least of difference. So, Denon's going to come in here. They're going to shake things up, which is good, because I'm sick and tired of Pioneer having this whole thing on the system, because it's just restrictive. You know, people like me say, like, you know, if CDJs were a lot cheaper, I would actually pick a few up, you know, CDJs in the mixer and have fun. But it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm not going to pay for, say, like an 800 Mark II or something. I'm not going to pay like near $1,000 for a full setup with those, because, I mean, the functionality is just completely limited compared to what I have with a controller. And I love the idea of ditching the controller and, you know, playing without a screen in front of me. You know, that sounds really appealing, but not at that cost. And so it's good. Denon's coming in. They're going to shake things up, but really what needs to happen is, like, Newmark needs to come in and have their player, and hell, if Gemini gets their shit together, they can come in and have their player, because those MDJ 1000s are a nightmare. So Gemini comes in and gets their shit together, and if there's some actual competition, you know, right now Pioneer has an artificial monopoly, and the reason I call it artificial is because it's not really a monopoly, but it has the real consequences of a monopoly, you know? So Pioneer has like this whole, you know, stranglehold, as I keep saying, on the system, and even though other companies do produce, you know, CDJs, CD decks and stuff like that, mixers, whatever, they're just not major players, because no clubs have anything but Pioneer, basically. Any club worth its salt is gonna have Pioneer. I mean, if you walk into a club and they're playing on Denons, like Denon CDJs or something, you should just bolt, basically. They're probably not gonna pay you. You know, just kidding, whatever. I speculate, I don't actually know, because I don't do this for a living. But, you know, so what I think is going to happen is that Denon's going to come in here and shake this up, and, you know, I'm cynical, I'm a pessimist, you know, about this, and I think no other company is going to do anything. No other company is going to do anything at all, you know, and so Pioneer and Denon are going to be in there, and they're going to come to some sort of agreement or something, or, you know, not even an agreement, just a natural way of settling things that just, you know, just naturally they don't even communicate about, where they're going to be selling these things at a price that's completely unreasonable and just kind of coexisting as competition. And, you know, I really don't want that to happen, because then, excuse me, what'll end up happening is Pioneer will just be selling their CDJs for more than $2,000. Denon will be selling their CDJs for the same price as Pioneer minus a few $100. And then, you know, all the people who want to stay on the Pioneer, which is inevitably going to stay in all the clubs and stuff for years to come, just because of the nature of, you know, Pioneer durability or whatever. You know, they don't really get moved around much in clubs. As long as they take care of them, it's good. It's not going to change. Club standard is still going to be Pioneer, and it's going to be lucky if some clubs actually switch to Denon, and then, you know, Denon's not going to make a takeover really soon. So they're just going to, you know, sit at a slightly lower price point, even though the functionality of their player just absolutely destroys the CDJs. Just like, you know, album art in the center of the jog wheel. I bet Pioneer was looking at that and thinking, oh, we were gonna put that in the next one. We better make sure it's in there now. I'm calling it. Next generation of the Pioneer CDJs is gonna have album artwork in the middle of the jog wheel. And you just don't need any of that flashy stuff either. Like, all the functionality you can get out of a controller, your laptop, you know, it's not going to be as reliable, but it just doesn't make sense that basically you're paying more than $2,000, even for the Denon CDJ thing, more than $2,000 for a CD player. Who, well, I mean, it's actually at these points the new ones are basically just computers. You're paying more than $2,000 for a computer that only plays music, only like organizes music and stuff. You know, it might have like a small, decent touch screen like this big. Like, that doesn't make sense. You're paying more than $2,000 for what my computer can do for $400. It might not be pretty, but I mean, the proof of concept is there, and that's really all there is to it. I hope Denon shakes things up and it doesn't actually, you know, all go stale, but we'll see. But I'm really sick of this sentiment that these things are actually worth more than $2,000. I'm gonna be surprised if like, I don't know how much the Mark 1s were selling for back when they were retail, and I was too lazy to look it up, but I suspect it was probably, you know, more than $1,000. And you know, it doesn't matter what computers are in here at all. It's a CD player, and if it's built like this, you know, which works, but it's not actually that durable. Like, I mean, things just break all over the place. Like, that's not worth more than $1,000. This is not worth more than $1,000. You know, CDJ Nexus 2s, you know, might be worth more than $1,000, but they're not worth more than $1,000. Let's be honest. That functionality is not there. It's just people's only option, and it's just, you know, a mentality that's set in across everyone. You know, these CDJs, not worth more than $2,000, probably not worth more than $1,000. And I don't care about, you know, a good price is whatever people are willing to pay. That only works when there's actually competition, you know. If Pioneer just has this artificial monopoly, then they take whatever they want, because people are going to need these players. Clubs are going to need these players, you know. It's a standard. Pioneer's taken the market from multiple fronts. They've taken it from the fact that they need to sell the players. They've taken it from the fact that all the clubs need to have them. You know, Pioneer really hit it off really well here. Denon's going to shake things up, I hope. But these things are not worth more than $2,000, and it just actually just kind of sickens me how much these things cost. It does not make sense. I mean, like, seriously, like, this stuff, this piece of ABS plastic, all this crap in here that just breaks off, this CD drive, you know how Pioneer CD drives are, you know, all this stuff, like, it is not worth what they sell it for. Thank you.